Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Universe Within podcast. This episode of the show is being sponsored by the Amazonian Plant Healing Center, the Temple of the Way of Light. It's a place I've worked at for a number of years, and if anyone is interested in working with plant medicines, especially ayahuasca, it's always the place that I recommend people can go, especially if they have the ability to go to Peru and they have 12 days. It's really a magical experience. You have the opportunity of working with 4 different Shipibo curanderos, working with 2 or 3 facilitators, a yoga teacher, and just an amazing support staff that has been doing this work for a long time now. I think close to 15 years, and working with thousands of people, and really just developing a system that allows people to really be able to go deep and to experience all there is from working with these plants. So it really does an amazing job at creating that set and setting to allow people to go really deep into their own personal process and to experience all of the amazing healing and learning benefits of working with these plants. So if anyone is interested in that, you can check out their website at templeofthewayoflight.org. Retreats are scheduled to start again in June. So if you go on the website, you can see all of the dates and sign up for a retreat. Also, I'll be working with my friend and colleague, Merav Artzi, who I interviewed 2 or 3 episodes ago. We'll be running tobacco and tree diets in the Sacred Valley of Peru in Urubamba. And we have a couple dates set for this year, 2021. I believe the first is March 3rd to the 19th, and then the second one is May 1st to the 17th. And if anyone wants any more information on that, they can go on my website, nicutianarustica.org, or Merav's site, tobaccodiets.com. And I'll put all of those links in the show notes. Today's guest is a really special guest. He's a dear friend of mine. I consider him a teacher. His name is Imika. He comes from the Tubú people in the Valpais region of Colombia near the Rio Apaportas. I met him actually through my friend Claude, who did the translation of this interview, and another friend of mine, Jessica. And I've worked with him a number of times now, usually in what's called a mambiadero. It's a shared space, a communal space, often done in a maloca, where stories are taught, where discussions are had, and really where knowledge is passed down. And obviously there's no kind of replicating that live experience of working with these plants in that ceremonial context, but a lot of his knowledge is shared orally through stories, through these really amazing histories that he recounts through the legends that the Tubú carried. And there's a tremendous power in that. There's a tremendous wisdom in those stories. And it's just always really a pleasure to speak with him. As Claude was saying at the end, the stories are numerous, and often these kind of sharing circles can last hours, all throughout the night. So he has a tremendous amount of to share, and we really just touched on kind of the tip of it. But already I think the episode was close to 2.5 hours, so I didn't want to have it go too much longer than that. But hopefully there'll be a part 2 in the future where he can go into some of these things and even some more depth. So I think you all will get a lot out of this, and I hope you enjoy it. As always, if you're able to support this show through donation, that's a really big help in helping me to produce this show, to reach out, to get and bring new guests on, and to keep sharing this information. The best way to do that is probably through Patreon. There's a link in the show notes. And that gives you some really nice added benefits. There's different tiers you can sign up for, which give you access to things like early access to shows, extended interviews, bonus material, various links, Q&As. So that's a really good way to support this show and to support me. And then there's also the option of direct donation through PayPal. And again, all of those links will be in the show notes. If you're not able to do that, simply going on the YouTube page and subscribing to the show, turning on the notification bell, and liking the video is a really big help. And then with the audio version, going on Apple Podcasts and leaving a starred rating and a review. It may seem like a small thing, but it actually really helps to get this show out to a bigger audience. So I think that's it for the introduction, and without further ado, here is my conversation with Imika.
No, pues yo estoy listo, ¿sí? Empecemos.
Yeah, perfecto. Bueno, so maybe we can just start. Maybe Claude, you can introduce yourself, and then maybe have Imika introduce himself. Also, for those of you who don't know, I'm here with my friend Claude and Imika. Claude was actually in one of the earlier podcasts, a very popular one where I interviewed him. So if you're interested in learning more about Claude, you can go back to that one. And so yeah, Claude will introduce himself, and then Imika as well.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Claude. I'm from Peru, and I studied anthropology, and I've been working with indigenous peoples for over 10 years now. And it's a great pleasure to be here serving again as a bridge keeper with my dear friend Imika. Thank you, Jason, for having us, for having me. I think this is a really beautiful opportunity for people to know a little bit more about this great messenger that we have here from the Tubú nation. That I have the honor to be working with for a few years now, learning a lot. This is somebody that has taught me, that has helped me put to bring all the accumulated knowledge and experiences with different indigenous peoples and medicines to a next level of clarity and of practicality. And so I hope everybody enjoys this interview. It's a pleasure to be here.
Bueno, ¿quieres traducir? You want to translate to Imika?
Sí, Imika, bueno, me estaba presentando, estaba diciendo que pues ya tú me conoces bien y estaba agradeciendo la oportunidad de estar aquí contigo y con Jason, y diciendo que pues espero que la gente que nos está viendo disfrute mucho de esta entrevista, porque para mí es una gran alegría, un gran honor estar contigo nuevamente. Le decía a la gente que para mí pues eres un gran mensajero, traes un mensaje, una propuesta muy poderosa, muy importante, y que para mí personalmente pues aparte de haber aprendido muchísimo, me ha ayudado a poner orden y traer mucha claridad en todo lo que había acumulado de experiencia, de conocimientos en los diferentes caminares con diferentes pueblos indígenas, con diferentes medicinas, que tú me has ayudado, tú y tus historias y tus enseñanzas han traído todo esto a un otro nivel de comprensión y de practicidad, ¿no? De poder aplicar eso en la vida diaria. Y entonces para mí es una gran alegría, y que espero que la gente lo disfrute mucho, esta conversación que vamos a tener.
Muy bien.
Entonces, Imika, ¿quieres hablar unas palabras sobre tú y tu historia?
Bueno, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días para todos. Muchas gracias, familia. Me llamo Imika Tarirú, soy de la nación Tubú, Murimasa, los hijos del tiempo y espacio. Somos indígena amazónico colombiano, ubicado geográficamente en el departamento del Baupés, en el suroriental del país, Colombia. Entonces, aquí estoy para compartir y desde luego que para aprender mucho de ustedes también. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, so Imika is introducing himself. His name is Imika Tarirú from the Tubú Masa Nation, the children of time and space. They are originally from the Baupés department or region in the southeast Colombia, in the Colombian Amazon, and yeah, he's very happy to hear, and also to share and to learn from us.
So yeah, maybe Imika, could you speak a little bit about the Tubú people? I would imagine most people have never heard of them. Maybe a bit more about the history, the culture, and the people that you come from.
Imika, tal vez sería muy bueno si nos podrías contar un poco, si puedes, sobre la nación Tubú, de dónde son, un poco de tu historia, porque la mayoría de personas pues nunca han escuchado hablar de ustedes, entonces si pudieras presentar un poco a la nación Tubú.
Bueno, Jason o Jackson, muchas gracias por la invitación. Bueno, estoy muy contento, muy atento de lo que podamos compartir ahora. Entonces, ya como le dije, soy Imika, soy de la nación Tubú, Munimasan, los hijos del tiempo y espacio, caminantes de la trocha imaginaria, abuelo de los abuelos entre los abuelos, de que el tiempo es tiempo, de que el mundo es mundo y de que el hombre es hombre.
Yeah, so as he said before, he is Imika Tarirú from the Tubú Masa Nation, the children of time and space, walkers of the imaginary path, grandfathers, grandparents of the grandparents, among the grandparents, since time is time, since the world is world, and since man is man.
Entonces, para poder hablar un poco sobre la nación Tubú, tenemos que retornar un poco hacia la historia, ¿no? Los viejos dicen que tener la historia clara de cada nación, de cada uno de nosotros, es tener viva la palabra. Por lo tanto, vamos a compartir la historia de la nación Tubú y Munimasan para poder comprender un poco quién es la nación Tubú, qué es lo que trae, cuál es la propuesta que trae en este tiempo y espacio.
The elders say that in order to talk about a nation, it's very important to know the history, the story of origin of the nation. Each nation has to be able to share this story of origin. So in order to talk about the Tubú nation, it's always good to talk about, to tell the story of Tubú.
Bueno, dicen los abuelos que la nación Tubú y Munimasan viene de un lugar que se llama Munindoro-Patore, que es punto y origen de la energía. Y ese lugar queda en un lugar que se llama los Sirios, la estrella Sirio.
The elders say that the Tubú Umuni nation come from a place they call Umuni Doropatori, point and origin of the energy. And this place is what we know as Sirius, the star Sirius, the Sirius solar system.
Dicen los viejos que los sirios es un espacio, es es una estrella, es un lugar donde está sostenido de otros dos planetas para poder comprender que para generar un cambio social y real se debe de hacerse acompañadamente.
The elders say that this star Sirius is formed system is formed by other two planets that sustains, that holds this system, this energy. In order to understand that, in order to create anything, in order to create any change, to create society, everything that we do we must do it together. We must do it in unity.
Dicen los abuelos que allá en el Munindorpátore, desde allá, estando en los sirios, esta nación tuvo un abuelo de los Tubú, escuchó un anhelo de ciertas naciones que ya existían aquí en esta dimensión conocida como la vida. Ellos anhelaban otra propuesta diferente de lo que ya estaban viviendo en este lugar.
The elders say that over there, Tubú, the elder, the grandfather of this nation, from there he heard the longing, the calling, the deep desire of other nations that were already living in this planet and at Earth.
Dicen los viejos que Tubú, al escuchar ese anhelo de estas naciones que estaban en esa complejidad, en ese caos, querían otra propuesta. Tubú escucha desde allí, desde los sirios, se lanza con la velocidad de la luz, con la fuerza del rayo, y atraviesa 12 dimensiones, y se posa encima del tapete verde, encima de los capullos de los árboles, y empieza a observar.
So the elders say that he heard this calling, this longing, this deep desire of this society, wanted and desperately needed a new proposal, a new way, a new ideas, a new proposal for a society that was in a lot of difficulties. And hearing this calling, this longing for a new proposal, Tubú throws himself out of Umuni Doropator, out of the Sirius, and transcends 12 dimensions in order to arrive to this planet. And he places himself floating on top of the green carpet, of the canopy of the Amazon, and starts observing.
Tubú, al posarse allí encima del tapete verde, al observar desde allí, se da cuenta que esta dimensión o la vida misma es una locura, que la vida es un gran teatro. Al entender que él solo no podía sostener esta locura, ni podía ser el buen protagonista de este gran teatro, dicen los viejos que él trasciende en las profundidades de un pico de apatore, que es punto y origen de la vida, y eso queda en las profundidades de la laguna de la leche materna, que es en las profundidades del mar.
Mm-hmm. So the story says that Tubú is there observing on top of the green canopy, and he realizes that life here is absolute madness, that this is the great theater of life. And so he realizes that he will not be able to stand it, to hold this great madness alone. So he transcends to a place called Un Pico de Apatore, that is point and origin of life, that is in the depths of the lake of the mother's milk, the lake, the depth of the ocean.
Dicen los viejos que que allí en las profundidades del mar o la laguna de la leche materna, punto y origen de la vida, el Tubú venido de los sirios, toma forma, se materializa en este cuerpo, en algo tangible, en algo palpable. Pero dicen los viejos que Tubú estando allí en las profundidades del mar, experiencia, vivenció y se dio cuenta que hay muchas naciones que vinieron de otras dimensiones también, prefirieron quedarse allí, porque dicen los viejos que allí en las profundidades del mar, la mente tiene la capacidad de tener esa, de ampliar la mente en una manera más acelerada que en esta superficie. Y esas naciones están muy avanzadas, están muy desarrolladas. Por lo tanto, Tubú conoce a esas naciones como la gente Guaymasa, gente del agua.
So the elders say that Tubú, in the depths of the ocean, in this place, point and origin of life, he acquires this a body. So he materializes in a tangible form, material form, a body. And the elders say that down there he met other nations. He realized and met and shared with other nations, many other nations that came from other dimensions, and found in this place in the water um, an ideal place to develop high levels of the mind, of consciousness. And then they decided to stay there because it was much easier down there to develop and expand the mind much more than here in the surface. Yeah.
Como Tubú venía a responder ese anhelo de estas dimensiones, Tubú dice la historia que él emerge. No se pudo quedarse allí porque él viene a responder, viene a acompañar en esa reconstrucción de una sociedad destejida en esta dimensión y en esta superficie. Emerge allí desde las profundidades del mar en un lugar conocido como Umuribararo Patore, que es punto y origen de cambio.
So these nations that are on the water, they are known to the Tubú and all these peoples as the Waimasa, the people of the water. But since Tubú came with a mission, he came here to answer this calling, this longing, this desire of other societies that wanted a new alternative, a new possibility. A proposal for change. Then he transcends to the surface. He emerges in a point that is called Muni Bararo Patore. That means point and origin of change, point and origin of transformation.
Dicen los viejos que es el lugar que es el Muni-Bararo Patore, punto y origen de cambio, que hay en el Río de Janeiro, en el Brasil, para la nación Tubú. Dicen que vistos desde los ojos físicos, desde la visión humana, se ven como unas grandes playas y se ven como unas grandes montañas. Pero si tomamos medicina como la ayahuasca, el yagé o el yopo o el mismo yémuro, el hongo, peyote, San Pedro, a través del acompañamiento de esta medicina, dicen los viejos que nosotros rompemos ese telón del tiempo y hacemos el zoom y desde otras dimensiones vemos, discernimos nuestra realidad. Dicen que esas aparentes playas o aparentes montañas no son playas, sino son unas grandes malocas donde Tubú por primera vez en esta dimensión vivenció el poder de la palabra.
So the elders say that this place, Muni Bararo Patore, point and origin of change, is located in Rio de Janeiro, here in Brazil. for the Tubú nation. So they say that if you go there and you observe this place with these physical eyes, you see there's big, beautiful beaches and big, amazing mountains. And if we go there and with the help of medicines like ayahuasca or yopo, yemuru, or mushrooms, peyote, San Pedro, with the support and the help of these medicines, we can break the veil of time and see what it is in reality, in the real reality. And then say these big mountains are actually big malokas, long houses, communal houses, spiritual houses, where Tubú sat in one of these and experienced for the first time the power of the word.
Dicen los viejos que Tubú estando en ese espacio, en la casa grande, en la gran maloca, empieza a entender un poco que él empieza y trae la propuesta de reconstruir sociedades que están destejidas. Por lo tanto, para poder hacer ese ejercicio, esa tarea, ese trabajo, lo debe de hacer acompañado.
So the elders say that Tubú starts understanding more this mission that brought him here, that was to rebuild societies, unwoven or thread societies that were already here. And in order to do this, he realized that he had to do it in group, in a community, sitting in this longhouse, in this maloca. He realizes that he needed the support of the community.
Dicen los abuelos que Tubú empieza a llamar, a invitar a ciertos roles, a ciertas propuestas, a ciertas columnas o sillas o asientos para que le acompañen en esa reconstrucción de una sociedad destejida. A la primera propuesta que llama es a Diato de Pamazón como un cómplice de esta dimensión conocido como Yepamazán, gente de la evolución de la tierra.
So the elders say that Tubú, sitting there, started calling other roles, other proposals, other columns of his maloka, other seats in this, let's say, council, to build his nation, his team, let's say. And the elders say that the first one that he calls upon is Diato Yepamason, which is as a partner and as a accomplice to help him rebuild societies. The Yepamasa is the people of the evolution of the earth itself. So it's a part of the one nation that was already here.
Luego de esta propuesta, Tubú invita a otra propuesta también, conocida como Diácara Sunandari Munimbayal. Dicen los viejos que Diácara Sunandari Munimbayaru es la propuesta cuando hay problema en la comunidad, cuando hay enfermedad, cuando hay caos en un proceso colectivo, en una nación, en una comunidad. Él lo que hace es invitar a danzar a la comunidad para mitigar o sanar esa situación. Y no danza cualquier danza, es danza que contiene código de sanación.
The elders say that the next one that he calls it was Diakara Surandari Umuni Bayaro, and the story says that Diakara, when there's a conflict, when there's chaos, when there's a situation in the community, his way of intervening is to call the whole community to dance as a way to mitigate the problems or whatever situation there is. But it's not just any dance, it's dances that contain healing codes.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú es de Tubú para Muñezco. Tubú para Muñezco es una gran abuela. Es la propuesta que cuando hay problema, enfermedad, caos, incertidumbre dentro de una nación, ella interviene a través del consejo. Es una mayora que acompaña desde su compartir su propia experiencia. Es palabra caminada, vivenciada. Es una gran abuela, es una mujer pública. Su bastón es de tomar decisiones claras y contundentes.
The elders say that the next one that appears was Tubú para Muñezco. She is a grandmother, a powerful grandmother, that her way of intervening is through counsel, through advice, but her word is a word that comes from the experience, comes from her walk. She walks her talk, let's say. And they say that her staff of being is of commandment, of ruling, of decision, of a powerful word.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú en esta reconstrucción de una sociedad destejida es de Diañi Iltase Carikumu. Diañi Iltase Carikumu es el guardián de la memoria de una nación. Dicen los viejos que sin esa propuesta, sin este rol, nos convertimos en huérfanos de nuestra propia historia. Es la guardia indígena, es el policía, es el ejército dentro de una nación consciente y sana.
The next one that appears to the elders was Diañi Ñecarikumu, and he is the keeper of the story of the nation. That the elders say that without this proposal, a nation becomes orphan of its own story. And Diani is the police, the army of a nation.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú es conocida como Diacarabu Muñezco. Dicen los viejos que Diacarabu es una mujer hermosa, es una gran danzadora, es una mujer que a través de mover su cuerpo, ella mueve la energía y se convierte en una gran mediadora. Cuando hay problema, cuando hay enfermedad, cuando hay caos dentro de una nación, ella lo que hace es intervenir a través de una mediación. Que en este caso, su única herramienta para hacer esa mediación es la bebida conocida como la chicha, agua que tiene su propia vida.
The next one who comes to support Tubú is Diacarabu Muñezco. They say that she is a beautiful woman, and above all, a dancer, and she's a mediatress. She mediates, and when there's a disease, chaos, any situation, conflict, she mediates, and her only tool to do this mediation is through this fermented beverage called as chicha. It's a brew, you know. Yeah.
Entonces ella toma esa totumada de chicha, entrega a aquel que esté triste, que esté enfermo, y ella al entregar la chicha, ella lo que hace es tomar esa nostalgia, ese dolor, y lo transmuta en aliento de vida.
they say that Diakarabu, when she sees, when she detects a conflict, a nostalgia, a person that has a pain or something, she comes to this person, offers this bowl of drink, of brew, and by doing this, she takes into herself all this nostalgia, depression, pain, disease, and transforms it in 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 um, into something new, into mother's milk.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú es conocida como eh, Tumiri Duskir Sekari, Tumiri Duskir Baribo. Dicen los abuelos que esa propuesta, ese rol, es el economista de una nación. Es la persona que estudia el poder y el beneficio que nos trae las plantas medicinales. Es un gran botánico, es el guardián del alimento físico y del alimento espiritual. Es el que organiza y es el guardián de la gran chagra, conocida como la economía antigua, ¿no? Y de allí, pues, comparte desde esa abundancia, ya sea el alimento físico o el alimento espiritual.
The story says that the next one who came to support Tubú in his mission was Mini Niku Baribu, that he is a great economist of the nation. He is a great botanist. He is the one who has the knowledge of the power of the plants, and he's the keeper of the fields, of the food gardens, and the keeper of the spiritual and physical food. So from there, he brings the abundance to the nation.
Luego aparece otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú en esa reconstrucción de una sociedad destejida, conocida como Masatugo Umunisco. Dicen los abuelos que esta es una mujer hermosa, es la materialización de la belleza de la naturaleza. Mas, sin embargo, a pesar de estar dentro de una nación consciente y sana, la humanidad o el hombre se mareó frente a esta belleza y se atrevió a violentar su territorio. Fue excluida, fue señalada, pero fue la que caminó, toma esas situaciones como un bastón para fortalecerse y caminar en todo el círculo de la existencia del hombre. Cuando llega en ese punto y origen de esa situación, se convierte en una esperanza de una nación.
Then appeared a next role, a next proposal, another character in this Maloka, known as Masatu Comunie, and that she is a beautiful woman. She's the manifestation of the beauty of nature. But even if she was that she came into a healthy and conscious society, men could not understand the degree of this beauty, to the point where she was humiliated. Her territory, her own territory, was trespassed and violated, and with this situation, with this experience, she takes the strength and the power to go out and to walk all around the circle of existence of man. And when she comes back to that point and origin of that situation, she becomes a hope for her nation.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú es de Imika Tarirú, Baribera Cuaribaru. Dicen los viejos que esa propuesta es la que estudia el cuerpo y la mente bajo el efecto que produce agua que tiene su propia vida. Agua que tiene su propia vida, véase como la chicha, como el yagé, como la misma ayahuasca, agua de tabaco, la chichaja, la cerveza, todo eso es agua que tiene su propia vida. Y Mika lo que hace es estudiar bajo ese efecto a todos los integrantes de una sociedad, de una comunidad, para ver a quién le vamos a entregar la información o a quién no. Para cuidar también esa pureza o esa fuerza que tiene la palabra. Palabras que contiene código de sanación. Por eso tenemos que estudiar a quién vamos a entregar. Dicen los viejos que sin esta propuesta también, nosotros como seres humanos con los cinco sentidos, nos convertimos en los maestros del camuflaje. Bajo el efecto del yagé ya no cabe este camuflaje, otra máscara. Nos vemos como somos, así como la vida es como es, no como quisiéramos que fuese. Desde esa propuesta acompaña Imika a esa reconstrucción a Tubú y Munimas.
So the next one who appeared in the Maloca of Tubú was Imika Tarirú Baribera Cuaribaru. And the elders say that this proposal is the one who studies the state of the mind body under the effects of what they call water that has its own life. This water that has its own life is ayahuasca and also these fermented brews, also tobacco juice, beer, alcohol, all these things create, that bring strong effects. This is water that has its own life. So the Imika proposal studies the different members of the society, how they react and how they navigate the strength, the power of these medicines, so that they can know to whom or not to share the information, the power of the information, because they say that people immersed only in the perception of the five senses, we get lost. And if we don't do this study, for example, then we become masters of camouflage. We create masks in this theater. So, but with ayahuasca, for example, there's no possibility of masks. There's no, the masks fall down. There's no possibility for camouflage, and we start seeing life as it is and not as we wish it was. So this proposal is very important to do the study of the effects of these medicines, in order to take care also of the power of these words, of this information that have healing codes.
Otra propuesta que acompaña a Tubú es la propuesta Poamo Munisco. Dicen los viejos que esta propuesta es punto y origen de una sociedad. Dicen los viejos que esa propuesta es familia, es hogar, es logística dentro de la gran maloca, conocida como la sociedad, es orden. Entonces, Poamo es punto y origen de una sociedad.
Then the story says that the next one who appeared was Puamu Umuni, and she is point and origin of a society. She is the logistics of the house of Maloka, understood as the society itself. She is logistics. She is home. She is this point of origin of family, and that's this is a very important proposal that comes to support Tubú in his mission of rebuilding societies.
Otra propuesta es de Umugubu Buspua Baribera Kumu. Dicen los viejos que esta propuesta Umugubu es el abuelo, es el guía espiritual, es el guardián de la gran Maloca conocida como la sociedad. Dicen los viejos que Umugubu es el disco duro de una nación, es la biblioteca de una nación, es guía espiritual dentro de una nación. Umugubu fue Bariberacuari.
So the last one who appeared is Umugubu. And Umugubu is the keeper of the Maloka, the keeper of the memory. He's a spiritual guide. He is also the hard drive of the nation, the library of the nation. He is the spiritual guide, the grandfather.
Entonces Tubú camina esa propuesta y trae esta propuesta de reconstruir una sociedad destejida desde ese acompañamiento de los 10 roles. Por eso la sociedad, dentro de lo organizativo, político, desde la visión de Tubú, su organización es en espiral, es como telaraña. Aquí no funciona ese piramidal, porque dicen los viejos que nosotros, cada uno, por el hecho de haber nacido nomás, ya somos importantes. La mujer es el bastón del hombre y el hombre es el bastón de la mujer. En esa complementación sostenemos la unidad y así caminamos, hemos intentado caminar.
So this is the Tubú proposal, these 10 roles, 10 proposals, 10 let's say 10 proposals and roles that support Tubú in his role or in his mission of rebuilding broke societies. Understanding that this is not a pyramidal organization where there's a leader and there's a hierarchy, but instead it is more like a organization as a spiral, as a spider web, where everyone is equally important. Understanding that men and women are important just by the fact of being born, and understanding that the woman is the staff of the man and the man is the staff of the woman, and in this complementarity we find the unity. So this is how the Tubú nation had tried to walk in their journey in this life here on earth.
Yeah, Imika, thank you very much for that. Something I find very fascinating with you and the Tubú, something I've learned very much from is you often emphasize the power of the word and the power of the story. Why is that so important for you and for the Tubú, the word, often assisted maybe by Mambe, by tobacco, and the sharing of the word and the sharing of the story?
Entonces, Imika, muchas gracias por eso, por contarnos esa, esa introducción, esa historia de tu pueblo. Y Jason pregunta que él siempre se ha quedado muy impresionado por, por tu insistencia o por tu hacer énfasis siempre en el tema del poder de la palabra y el poder de las historias. ¿Por qué para ti, para ustedes como pueblo, es tan importante este poder de la palabra y la historia?
Bueno, dicen los viejos que toda nación que tenga una contrapropuesta hacia otra nación, que este tema no se trata de dominar al otro, sino ver como un complemento. Para que exista ese diálogo inteligente, los viejos recomiendan siempre no olvidar la historia primero, luego no desfallecer frente a los dos lenguajes que nos da la posibilidad de pervivir y sobrevivir en un contexto como esto. Se debe manejar el lenguaje que contiene código de sanación y el lenguaje cotidiano. Porque buenos días, buenas tardes, ¿cómo está? Eso no sana un cáncer. En cambio, otro lenguaje que va mucho más allá, que ya ha trascendido los 4 momentos, ya se convierte en código de sanación que puede sanar cualquier enfermedad. Dicen los viejos que para que un lenguaje sea que contenga código de sanación, la misma palabra debe trascender en 4 momentos, que es sonido, palabra poetizada y luego palabra cantada y ya torna en código de sanación. Y la historia lo que nos trae es trabajar desde recordar y prevenir antes de que suceda situaciones o antes de que aparezcan enfermedades. Es una manera de prevenir.
Yeah, so the elders say that in order for a nation to come to another nation with a different proposal, and we can also extrapolate this not only from nations but groups or individuals, to come to the other and bring another proposal, then one needs to be very conscious and aware and know very well his own story, and also understand the power of the 2 kinds of words that allow us to navigate and to live in this reality, in this dimension. That is the daily language, and then the language that contains healing codes. Because they say, good morning, how are you, what's up, all this doesn't heal. This will not cure a cancer. But there's languages that when they transcend 4 moments, they become healing codes. And for a word to become healing, it must go through these 4 moments, they say, that are first sound, then articulated as a word, as word, and then the word becomes poetry, and then the poetry, this poetic word is singing, as a chant. once the word goes through these 4 moments, then it becomes healing. So that's then the stories are very important, because the stories are like they bring all the information of all things, of all difficulties, challenges, of the past experience of a nation, on how to address different situations and disease and conflict and whatever happens. So it's knowing the story is also a way of preventing these things to happen, preventing people to go into the same mistakes of the that were already experienced by their ancestors.
Yeah. So Imika, you were speaking about these different roles that the Tubú proposed, that they embody. I think a question oftentimes people have is this kind of balance between their free will of choosing their role, and also how they're born into life. So I remember one time you telling me with the role of the Tubú, it's something they're born into, it's something that's chosen for them, but that also at a certain point they're given the decision whether they wish to live this role, to learn and then to teach it. So maybe you can speak a bit about this balance of the roles we're given in life versus the roles we choose in life.
Entonces, Imika, Jason está preguntando, está diciendo pues que es muy interesante esto de los roles de la nación Tubú, y que recuerda que alguna vez estuvimos conversando sobre esto, y cómo las personas pues nacen con un nombre, con un rol, y con toda la información, ¿no? Van adquiriendo desde muy temprano toda esta información sobre su rol, pero al mismo tiempo hay una cosa de como ese rol ya está predeterminado, ¿no? Pero al mismo tiempo en algún momento de la vida tienen la potestad de decidir hasta qué punto van a responsabilizarse por ese rol. Entonces, Jason, quisiera que comentes un poco sobre esta diferencia entre un rol que es predeterminado y un rol que uno decide para su vida, y las decisiones que uno puede tener en la vida, ¿no? ¿Cómo es eso?
Bueno, dentro de las grandes comunidades o dentro de las grandes malocas, ya dentro de cada nación, ese integrante que viene o nace ya viene con un nombre. Más sin embargo, llegado frente a la mujer a los 14, 15 años, hacen la presentación a la sociedad. Ya desde que está en el brazo de la mamá, ya está escuchando ella su rol, cuál es su nombre, qué es lo que implica, cuál es la responsabilidad frente a la sociedad. Ya ha llegado a los 15 años, ya ha escuchado muchas veces, ya tiene claro cuál es el peso de su nombre. Entonces, en esa presentación, que consiste en hacer una gran ceremonia, los abuelos preguntan que si quiere ella sentarse en ese silla que es su rol. Y mucha gente desisten, prefieren no voy a caminar en ese rol, pero más sin embargo se quedan con ese nombre y son integrantes de esa sociedad y son los veedores de ese rol. Es decir, si de pronto una Imika tuvo una falencia, todos los Imika son los primeros que le llaman la atención. Son los que cuidan ese nombre. Todos los Imika, hay miles de Imika en una comunidad, pero no caminan ese rol. Y caminar ese rol implica ser líder, ser sanador, ser danzador. Y es vitalicio. No es capricho que yo quiera hacer hoy Imika y mañana no. Entonces, pues, no. Esto es, por eso la comunidad es responsable también de cuidar este rol, ¿no? En este tiempo, ya conociendo la misma historia de los Diro Amasa, gente del amanecer, es diferente. Ya desde la característica y desde las cualidades y capacidades que identificamos a cada uno, y al escuchar la historia, ya cada uno como que se acerca o identifica desde cada rol, desde su propia característica y capacidad y desde su entender. En este tiempo, ¿no? Ya saliendo de las malocas.
Yeah, so as he was saying, among the Tubú nation, people are born already with a name. One of these, like following the order of the stories, they know already the next boy or girl what the name will be, to follow the order of the story. So all, to make the context, all the members of the Tubú nation have one of these names, right? So since they are in the arms of their mothers, they are listening to the stories that correspond to their names. So when they are 14, 15, to coming of age, when they're going to make a big celebration that is a presentation to the society of the young girls and boys, the young already know the stories and the implications, the weight of their own name. So in this celebration, the elders ask them if they want to assume this role in the society. In other words, to sit in this chair in the council, let's say, of the society, to assume the role of leadership, which means to be a leader, a healer, and a dancer. And this is for life. Most of them, like in the big communities, there will be hundreds, maybe thousands of Imikas, and most of them, they decide not to assume that weight of the responsibilities. So they keep the names, but they become regular members of the society without the responsibility. But they become also they have the responsibility to look to take care of the actions of the Imikas that are in assuming that role of leadership. So if Imika makes a mistake or something wrong, all the Imikas are the first ones that come and tell him, hey, you're doing this wrong. This is not good. So all of them have the responsibility to look after the proper functioning, proper responsibility, all the actions and of that role. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I'm not sure if I forgot something else, but I think that sums it up. Yeah, no, this is a very important thing that is now in these times, and knowing the story of the Diro Amasa, the new dawn, the people, of the new dawn of humanity, they understand that now it's different. When Imika tells us this story, has the willingness to share with us all the knowledge and all the teaching. And each one, we all have different names that don't correspond to that, but when we listen to the story, we start identifying ourselves more with one or the other roles. And also him or the elders start identifying each person according to their characteristics and capacities in order to give the information of a particular role to the different people that are from that system, in order to be able to give proper information and teach.
Imika, one of the things I see very frequently in my work, working with plant medicine, is one of the main reasons people are coming is because they feel they don't know what their role in life is, and they're looking for that. They didn't come from a place where they were born into a certain role, and so they're looking for these plants to give them some sort of insight into what their role in this world and in their society is. What insights or what would you say to those people?
Entonces, Imika, Jason dice que en su mundo, en nuestro mundo, ¿no? Que estamos trabajando mucho con las plantas maestras. Mucha gente viene justamente por eso, porque no encuentran o no saben bien cuál es su rol, cuál es su papel en esta vida, y vienen en busca de eso, ¿no? Nosotros no venimos ya con un nombre, con un papel, con un rol, con una propuesta. Tenemos que descubrirla, ¿no? Y mucha gente se acerca a estas plantas maestras o estas medicinas con la esperanza de entender mejor cuál es nuestro rol, cuál es nuestra misión, digamos, nuestro llamado en esta existencia. Entonces, ¿tú qué le dirías a partir de tu historia, de este conocimiento? ¿Qué le dirías a esa gente?
Bueno, hay una historia que cuentan los viejos que en estos tiempos, contaban que iba a aparecer una nación conocida como los Diro Amazá. Diro sería como esa materialización de la evaporación de la sangre derramada. Masá, gente.
Bueno.
Eso sería, pero en las palabras técnicas bonitas, desde el lenguaje moderno, desde lo pachamamístico, sería hablar de la gente del amanecer. Es decir, gente que allá no tiene físico, esa fisonomía de la nación Tubú, ya son conocidos como los Diro Amazá. Gente del amanecer, nueva nación, gente que ya empiezan a caminar la palabra amanecida. Son gente justiciero. Y a partir de esa comprensión, entendemos que la historia de esa nación, la danza, el canto, eso no tiene color, no tiene dueño, porque es para aquel que lo necesita y lo necesita urgente esta sociedad ahora. Creo que es el momento preciso, adecuado, hacer las cosas bien, con responsabilidad, sin mezquindad, porque ya los viejos dicen, ya se acabó el tiempo del indio, del blanco, del mestizo, del negro. Ya es hora de comprender que somos capaces de caminar siendo diferentes. Y lo podemos hacer encontrándonos a través de la medicina, a través de la danza, a través de los cantos. La medicina, la danza y la historia de sanación no tiene color ni raza.
Yeah, so there's an ancient story that talks about these times. The elders tell the story of the Diroa Masa. Diroa means the manifestation of the spilled blood, the manifest through the evaporation of the blood that manifests again being. And Masa is people, nation. Translated into this modern language, or the people bit ironically Pachamamistic language, we could say that this is the people of the dawn, the people of the new, a new nation, a new people that have not, don't have the characteristics of the Indians, but have the willingness to change, to be the, to bring justice, to bring a new time, a new. So this they know that from this story, they know that in these times a new kind of people will appear, and they recognize that it's not Indians anymore. So they say that they always say it's not anymore the time of the Indian, of the white, of the black, or whatever, or the mestizo, but is the people of is the time of the new dawn of humanity, and that we have to understand how to do things in a complementary way, that we have to do things together in complementarity. So they say that the story, the chants, the medicines, the dances, they have no color, skin color. They belong to all um, uh, in these times. So following this story, they say that they should not be selfish with sharing this information for these new people.
Yeah, Imika, you were speaking a bit of some of these medicines like ayahuasca, yopo, tobacco, mambe. Could you speak a little bit about the relationship that you and the Tubú people have with these medicines? I know I've heard you describe the story before of the anaconda canoe that came. But many people listening are very interested in these plants. And I think the Tubú have a really beautiful story of relating how these plants came into existence.
Entonces, Mika, estabas hablando un poco de mencionando estas medicinas como la ayahuasca, el yopo, el tabaco, el mambe, todas estas medicinas. Y pues Jason está pidiendo si puedes contar un poquito, porque él ha escuchado estas historias increíbles, un poco del origen de estas medicinas y qué son, para qué sirven. ¿Nos puedes compartir un poquito de esto?
Bien. Decían los abuelos que Tubú, a pesar de caminar en esa reconstrucción de sociedades destejidas, él, a pesar de caminar acompañado de los 10 roles, pero él quedaba corto en esa comprensión de qué locura, de qué teatro de la vida estaba hablando, ¿no? Para poder comprender medianamente de esa locura y de ese gran teatro de la vida, él plantea algo que se llama la canoa anaconda, que dentro de esa canoa anaconda están las medicinas que Tubú necesitó en un tiempo y espacio en ese proceso de reconstruir una sociedad destejida.
So the others say that Tubú, coming with this mission, right, of rebuilding societies, if he was you know, very powerful, and knowing all these stories, and you know, and surrounded by these 10 roles, very powerful council, let's say, organization. He understood that that was not enough to understand and to navigate in this great madness of this life, in this great theater of life. So they say that in order to more or less understand this madness and this life in this great theater, Tubú proposes what they call the anaconda canoe, um, where they place the different medicines that appeared in a particular time, in a moment where Tubú needed something to address a particular situation.
Entonces dicen los viejos que tuvo para comprender un poco, pues plantea la canoa anaconda, que dentro de esa canoa anaconda está la medicina que él necesitó para sanar cierta enfermedad o acompañar cierta situación. Que para la nación tuvo la primera medicina que aparece dentro de la canoa anaconda fue el tabaco. Luego aparece el mambe. Luego aparece el murundí, que en muchos lugares se conoce como el rapé. Luego el ambil. Luego aparece el espejo del mundo, columna del tiempo y espacio, que es Abenuni. Abenuni es el espejo del mundo, columna del tiempo y espacio, que ustedes lo conocen como el hongo, peyote y San Pedro. Luego aparece el tijiquí, que es el borrachero, el toé. Luego los viejos hablan de la reina del conocimiento, que es el yémono, el yopo y el yajé. Y aquellos que medianamente han caminado, han interiorizado la historia, la danza, el canto que acompaña a cada medicina que está en la canoa anaconda, hacen un evento que se llama la danza del Yurupari. Después de haber hecho la danza del Yurupari, crean las formas de sanar, que son conocidos como los jaguares del Yurupari.
So the elders say that all these medicines started appearing in particular moments where Tubú needed something to address a particular situation, disease, conflict, whatever, all the difficulties in their journey. So the story says that the different medicines that started appearing in this anaconda canoe was, first of all, the tobacco. Then the second one was mambe, so this coca, ground coca leaf. Then murundi, that we know as jape, and then the ambil, tobacco paste. And then appear this medicines called abenuni, that means the column of time and space, the mirror of the world, that we know as mushrooms, peyote, San Pedro. Then appeared the tijiki, that is the toe, or angel trumpet. And then Tubú says that proposes the three queens of knowledge, that are ayahuasca, yopo, and yemuru. Yemuru, that is cannabis.
Familia, a esto muchachos, me queda 3 minutos de batería, se me va a apagar, creo. Voy a intentar buscar el cargador. Entonces, pues, vale, muy bien.
So the ones that interiorize, that work with all these medicines and interiorize their spirit, their functioning, but especially their stories, their plans, and the dances that come along with each of these medicine. Once they do all this journey or this apprenticeship, they make this great party, this celebration called the Dance of the Yurupari. This is it has been classified as World Heritage and is common to many different nations in that region that is around the border between Brazil and Colombia, in the Rio Negro, Apaporis, Guapés rivers, and we know it's more or less 20 something, 26, 27 different nations, plus an indefinite number of nations that are isolated, uncontacted. So they all share this common system of all different nations. They share all this knowledge. Once they make this dance of the Yurupari, when these practitioners, they define their own way of healing, they become what they are called the jaguars of the Yurupari. So the Tubú is part of this constellation of nations known as the nations of the Yurupari. ¿Volviste, Imika?
Sí, ya estoy listo.
Entonces nos quedamos en los jaguares del Yurupari.
Jaguares del Yurupari. Bueno, esa es la manera de comprender y de caminar la canoa anaconda. Y los que componen allí, ¿no? Cada medicina tiene su lugar y tiempo. Dentro de la nación, Tubú lo que se intenta es dentro del mambiadero, contar toda la historia, todos los cantos, toda la danza, historia que contiene cada medicina. En esa comprensión, ahí sí avanzamos en probar la medicina, después de contar la historia.
So, for the Tubú, what they try to do is in the Mambe circles, in the ceremonies of the word, of the sharing of the information, that is almost like every night. What they try to do is share the stories of all these medicines. After the people start interiorizing the stories, they start sharing the different medicines. But first, it's important to understand each story before they share the medicines.
Imika, one of the main medicines that I've seen you work with is mambe and tobacco. Mambe coca, it's I think for many people it's not a familiar medicine plant or teacher plant. So maybe for people who are unfamiliar, could you speak a little bit about coca and mambe and what its role is and the story of that?
Dice que mucha gente que nos está escuchando pues no está muy familiarizados o muy poco o mal sobre el mambe, sobre la coca, y pues una de las principales medicinas que te vemos utilizando, compartiendo. Entonces, no sé si podrías contarnos un poquito sobre la importancia, sobre qué es esta medicina y para qué es importante.
Bueno, dentro de la nación Tubú, dentro de la visión, lo que es la hoja de coca, que cosa que hay que aclarar que no es cocaína, sino que pues el hombre ha manipulado y ha sacado como resultado otro producto, ¿no? Que no tiene que ver nada sobre lo que acompaña la hoja de coca en ese acompañar de despertar la memoria. Dicen los viejos que esta medicina, el mambe, nació para despertar memoria que ya traemos en nuestro territorio, que es el cuerpo.
So it's important to say that, you know, when we're talking about coca, it's important first to say that mambe coca is totally different than cocaine. Cocaine is a manipulation, extraction of a particular substance that is a manipulation that has nothing to do with the role, with the purpose of coca as a plant. The elders say that the mambe, coca, was born for awakening memory. So we use mambe to help awakening the memory that we already contain in our body. Mm-hmm. Imika.
Se fue. The cocoa awakened it awakened a memory of something in the kitchen he needs to get. Where are you getting mambe from? You're bringing it from Peru?
Colombia. It's getting harder and harder because not only the situation in Colombia with the cartels and the drug dealers, but also in the States, there, you know, with this crazy idea of war on drugs, they're also making it more difficult, and they're controlling more the transport of this beautiful and very important medicine for us, no? So it's getting harder and harder to have access to it.
Yeah.
Diga, Imika, nos contabas sobre el mambe para despertar memoria.
Ajá. Así lo comprendemos, ¿no? Pero igual es una de las herramientas más utilizadas dentro de la maloca también, para poder transmitir un conocimiento de generación a generación. Es una de las medicinas que se utiliza todos los días y todo el día, siempre y cuando le demos un espacio adecuado a esa medicina.
So beyond this role of awakening memory that coca and mambe has, it's a tool, it's a medicine that is present and it's very important in the maloca. It's a medicine that is used every day, along the day, and can be used, providing that we also give it its proper time and space to honor, that we honor the reason why this medicine was born. Mm-hmm. ¿Estás ahí?
Sí.
So Imika, also thank you for that. Also, I think many people with tobacco have maybe a misunderstanding, and I know for you in the Tubú, also tobacco is a very sacred medicine. So could you speak a little bit about tobacco? I know I've heard you say, for example, in the Mambiadero, the coca is giving sweetness to the word, and the tobacco is like making a pact. It's giving the word strength. So yeah, maybe if you could speak a little about tobacco and that relationship also between tobacco and mambe and coca.
Entonces estaba preguntando, dice que mucha gente pues tiene no entiende mucho sobre el tabaco y pues ya entendemos, sabemos, ¿no? La situación del tabaco en nuestras sociedades, pero sin embargo, pues tenemos que para ustedes es muy importante, y eso estoy diciendo, pues había esa importancia de que alguna vez te escuchó decir que el mambe traía la dulzura de la palabra y el tabaco pues traía esa conexión, le traía una fuerza a la palabra. ¿Nos puedes contar un poquito más de esto sobre el tabaco? And by the way, he was saying also that mambe is used in the Maloca to facilitate, to bring the possibility of a knowledge to be transmitted properly, generation to generation.
Bueno, desde la visión de Tubú, el tabaco nació, el tabaco físico o armado, ¿no? Porque hay varias formas de consumir el tabaco, que es fumado y también soplado, que es el murundí, ¿no? Y también se consume en ambil, que es almidón de tabaco, es en líquido. De cualquiera de esas formas hace el trabajo diferente. El tabaco fumado, dicen los viejos que nació para limpiar el territorio físico. En el entendido que nuestro territorio, desde la visión Tubú, el territorio físico, el primer territorio físico es nuestro propio cuerpo. Por eso cuando la persona está enferma o está debilitada o de pronto tiene una situación, una consecuencia, una materialización de una traición, una enfermedad, dolor de cabeza, migraña, lo sanamos con el tabaco armado. Pero ya cuando es Parkinson, epilepsia, ya va de forma soplado, que es en polvo. Pero si ya es problema de gastritis, problema de colon, ya vamos, es con el ambil. Entonces, por eso cambian las formas de utilizar el mismo tabaco, ¿no? Entonces, cada cosa tiene su historia de sanación, su danza y su canto.
So tobacco, of course, can be used in different forms, in different ways. The first one, of course, is like smoking, rolled tobacco, but also can be used as a powder to be blown through the nose, and paste tobacco that is a bill in a more liquid form. Each one of them contain, come with their stories, their chants, their dances that accompany their different roles. The smoked tobacco, they say that appeared or was born for cleaning territory, physical territory, and especially the first, what they understand as our first territory, that is our own body. So when there's some things like migraines or different diseases or problems in the person, they do it by blowing the tobacco. There's other things like Parkinson's or other problems, migraines or things that are more by blowing the tobacco. And then other things like colon problems or gastritis, they use the paste, the ambi.
Imika, you spoke of these two different categories of plants. One, I forget the Tubú name, but you called it the pillar of time and space, the mirror, which was mushroom, peyote, San Pedro. And then there's this other category of the plants of knowledge, yopo, jemaru, and ayahuasca, yahe. How do those two groups differ for you? When would be the appropriate time to use those? And And what is the process of working with those plants?
Imika, ¿estás ahí?
Sí,
Entonces dice Jason que estabas hablando de dos categorías de estas plantas en la canoa anaconda, que era uno, pues, Uní, ¿no? La columna del espacio-tiempo, el espejo del mundo, y también de estas otras conocidas como las reinas del conocimiento. ¿Cómo estas dos categorías difieren y cuáles los momentos adecuados para usarlas? ¿Cuáles son las
bueno,
diferencias?
decíamos que la reina del conocimiento son consideradas como reina porque traen una información bastante amplia. Y lo otro es el Abenuri, tiempo y espacio, que es columna del tiempo y espacio, espejo del mundo, ¿no? No es que una y otra sea más que la otra, son diferentes y hacen diferentes trabajos. En ese entendido, entonces, lo que hacemos es ir paso por paso. Por eso siempre comenzamos con el tabaco, mambe, ambil, murundí, bueno, abenuri, que es el hongo, luego peyote, San Pedro, borrachero, y luego avanzamos con la reina del conocimiento, que es el Yemono, Yopo y Yaje. Es un gran proceso, pero eso no quiere decir que sean dos categorías. Están en la misma canoa, sino que una está antes que otra. En ese sentido de ir adentrando poco a poco el conocimiento acompañado de estas medicinas.
So, when he says categories, it's not that much
No,
a category, but it's like
esta vaina,
are different. Doesn't mean that one is more important than the other, but for them it's very important to follow the order. So when they enter in this um, path of knowing the plants, they go in the order of the story, and in order of the place of each medicine. So they start with tobacco, then mambe, then rapé, then ambil, and then abenunino, mushrooms, peyote, San Pedro, toe, and then the queens of knowledge. They are called the queens of knowledge because they bring a very wide spectrum of information and knowledge. So that's why it's important to follow the order in order to 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 access to this knowledge in a proper way. So I think there's a couple of important things to say about this information of the plants and the medicines. Is at first this is the Tubú point of view, right? The elders always stress the fact that this is not an absolute truth, that this is not a way that must be followed, but they share these ways because for them it's the power of the experience of generations and generations, not much for individual process, right? But above all, with the aim of bringing these medicines as a support for building a conscious and healthy society, right? So for them, all the rules and the guidelines that they give and the care that surround the use of these medicines is not that much of individual use of them, but how they inscribe in the society, and that how they can be a part of the society that actually helps bringing consciousness and health, right? So this is very important, and also it's important for people to understand that the the, the actual profound process of learning how to use these medicines. The apprenticeship is not only difficult, hard, exhausting, but also extremely long. As he said in the beginning, you know, people, since they are born, they are listening to the stories. So this is already part of understanding the use and the place of each medicine in the society. And also, of course, you know, the care, the precautions one as an individual must take in order to use them properly in a healthy and conscious way, right? So after this, all these years of childhood, listening to the stories of each of these medicines and the roles and uh, all this, and then when they uh, enter and they decide to go further in the in the role, in the weight of their name, you know, to be a leading member of the society, then it's more or less 8 years of study of these medicines. You know, 8 years of apprenticeship, of like going deeper and deeper in the understanding of these medicines, their stories, their chants, and the dances that accompany these medicines. Then after this process, when they do this dance of the Yurupari, you know, when the elders say, "Oh, these guys are ready to to become uh, leaders," because they know already how to navigate with these medicines through this madness, through this theater of life, they are sent away. They have to go for another 8 years to the other nations that surround them and to learn from the others the ways of the others, right? So the Tubú, they have a particular way of using each one of these medicines, but then they have to go to the other, to the
That's the
leaders and specialists from other nations to learn their ways, the difference, right?
Yeah.
So that makes, you know, many years, at least 16 years of deep study of medicine before they come back to their own nation and they can be recognized as healers, as leaders, and spiritual guides, you know, to assume a role of guidance for the society, you know. So this gives us a clue on the what we are doing today with the medicines as well, you know. It's like we as a society want things immediate, rapid, fast. We want to learn fast. We want to, you know, and then start working and start going out and using these medicines and many times make a living with these medicines, you know. And it's not that it's bad, but it's important for people to understand, you know, uh, the traditional ways are really difficult, hard, profound, and long. You know, so also we need for our people, our, you know, this new tribe, new people of the dawn that are from many different countries. It's important that we use these medicines, but it's also important that we study them really deeply, you know, so we can bring them into our society in order to bring change, in order to bring to start rebuilding our society as a more conscious and healthy one.
Yeah, great. Ya, Mika, bienvenido.
Ya, ya solucioné, ya compré otro. Me tengo
Qué
que comprar
bueno.
otro cargador, sí.
Entonces, Claude was just speaking a little bit about the work it takes to use these medicines. One thing I find very fascinating when you speak is this idea of the Diro Amasa, this new breed of people who will, you often say that will build a new Maloka and bring medicine from all four directions. Uh, so maybe you could speak a little bit about this new Maloka that the Tubú speak of, this new way of being, this new proposal of bringing medicine from all culture, from all directions, and what does that look like when we create something new?
Entonces, Imika, Jason está preguntando un poco sobre esta idea de los Diro Masai que te escucha decir a veces, ¿no? Que es como una nueva nación y la construcción de una nueva maloca, digamos, ¿no? De esta nueva gente. ¿Qué significa un poco esto? Y también la idea de estos diromas, esta nueva gente que traen medicinas de las otras direcciones. ¿Cómo se aplica esto en este tiempo? ¿Qué significa esto? Y también el uso de las medicinas para este nuevo tiempo, ¿no?
Ajá. Bueno, dicen los viejos que decían, contaban la historia que tuvo Munimas, hijo del tiempo y espacio. Dentro de la misma historia se cuenta que Tubú ha sido exterminado físicamente. Y pensamos que eso era solo historia. Pero ahora que vivo en una de las grandes ciudades de Latinoamérica, de Sudamérica, que es Bogotá, me doy cuenta de qué historias estaban hablando, ¿no? Ahora mismo estamos siendo exterminados. No, mis hijos mismos ya no hablan Tubú, ya no hablan tucano, desano, piratapuyo, eso ya se está acabando en un acelere muy rápido, muy acelerado. De ese exterminio estaban hablando físicamente y luego también mentalmente. Nos exterminan cada día más. Y entonces cuando ya llegamos a las grandes ciudades y empezamos a compartir con gente que físicamente no son Tubú, pero sí están interesados, están en la misma búsqueda de salvaguardar este óvulo, esta maloca que es el planeta. Sentimos que también aparece la materialización de la historia de los Diro Amasa, no siendo Tubú, pero sí preocupado en crear otra propuesta donde quepamos todo. Para nosotros, esos son los Diro Amasa.
So the elders used to tell this story, this ancient story about the extermination of Tubú. And when Mika was a kid, as anyone, he was thinking that it was just a story. The elders would say, "Son, we have been exterminated." And they would say, "Oh, it's just a story, you know, everything's going fine. We're just like fine here, you know, nobody's bothering us and we're thriving." But now that he lives in Bogotá, one of the biggest cities in South America, that lost their territory, he understands that this story is manifesting itself. Um, and he sees how they are being exterminated, you know. He's seeing the lost territory, the culture, and he sees his own children that they don't want to speak Tubú anymore, or Tucano, or Desana, or Piratapuyo, all these languages that each one of them, they used to speak 7, 8, 20 languages. This is not happening anymore. So this explanation is in a daily basis and a more and more accelerated process, which is terrible. So now he knows that the story is not just a story, but it's actually happening now. And when they came to the city, they started seeing all these people like us that are coming to them with with um, with a deep willingness to learn, to know more, and to learn these ways and to gather this information. And so here comes the story of the Diro Masa, the people of the New Dawn, the people that are not like Tubú, not Indians, that is a mutation. They come and they want to interiorize this information in order to rebuild a society, to bring change, to restore the great our great Maloka understood as our planet, right? So um, so this idea of the of these new people brings them, it's like the following the same story. If our story of extermination is happening and it's not just a story, then the story of the Tiramasa is also important, and we should follow it in order to see the continuation of this legacy, which will not be transmitted to Indians anymore, but to other people from other nations that have this willingness and this impulse to bring change, to rebuild a Maloka where we all fit. Yeah.
Yeah, and Imika, what do you think is this balance? Similar to another question, but this balance of honoring these ancient ways, as you said before, these ways that have thousands of years of being tested, of being shown to be true, of working, while at the same time creating something new and changing. So what is that balance between holding and honoring tradition and at the same time being open to and creating something new?
Good question. Entonces, Imika, ¿cómo siempre hablamos de la importancia de honrar las tradiciones y seguir las formas antiguas, y al mismo tiempo también esta idea de los Diro Masá que traen algo nuevo, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cuál es el balance, el equilibrio, según tú, cómo lo ves? Este balance, este vaivén o este equilibrio entre lo antiguo, lo tradicional, que está basado pues en toda esta experiencia, que ha demostrado que funciona, y también esa necesidad de traer algo nuevo. ¿Cómo ves tú estas cosas, este equilibrio?
Bueno, en lo personal, opino que no ha habido ese entendimiento, la diferencia del otro. Creíamos que estábamos exterminando a los negros, a los indios, pero no nos dimos cuenta que estábamos exterminando, tumbando nuestra propia casa, nuestra propia Maloka. Y ya hemos tumbado las 4 columnas que sostenía a la gran Maloka. Estoy hablando de diferentes naciones que han sido exterminadas. Ya ahora solo nos queda la columna del centro y la humanidad está agarrada en esa columna del centro. Es ahí donde veo que está la importancia y la mediación que puede ser la gente de la nueva nación que son conocidos como los Diro Amazán. Siento que ahí está el papel importante y también el interés de compartir, ya sin ese ánimo de imponer, de exterminar al otro, sino ver desde esa complementariedad. Nos necesitamos uno al otro, desde lo que sabe y para llevarlo en la práctica real. Ya no más discurso, sino acción. Estar en ese campo de acción. Eso es lo que yo creo que es el llamado en este tiempo para encontrar ese balance, ese equilibrio. Todos somos importantes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with this idea of the great maloka of humanity, right? We, as a civilization, we thought that we were just exterminating other nations, you know, like converting and making the others become like us. And in this process, we exterminated entire nations that were the columns that that sustained, that hold the big communal house of all. And we didn't realize we were doing that. We didn't realize that we thought we were just exterminating peoples, but we were tearing down the columns of our own house. And today, when we have one column standing, and all the rest are clinging and trying to hold from this column, and while our house is falling down. So the importance of the people of the Dawn, of the Diro Amasa, is for them to be the mediators, to bring the understanding that everyone is important, all the nations, and the knowledge of each nation is important, and to try to get together, not as like converting and trying to become one and the same, but how our knowledges, our systems, our sciences, our wisdom complements each other. We're coming to the point in humanity that we can understand that we desperately need that. We need each other. We need the knowledge of the other to be able to bring better answers to our challenges. So this is a main role as that Imika sees personally, his own opinion of the Diro Masa. The role of the Diro Masa is like bringing humanity together, bridging these differences, and to go beyond the difference and start talking about complementarity. How we build unity in our diversity.
And Imika, do you think these plants, these stories, these traditions, when we work with them properly, they offer us a path to find this unity, to find this harmony within ourselves, and then by finding it within ourselves, we can begin to apply it to the world?
Mika, entonces, ¿tú crees que estas plantas, estas medicinas, si las usamos correctamente, en un nivel personal, individual, nos pueden ayudar a tener esa conciencia de cómo hacer, cómo traer esa unidad, esa complementariedad en el mundo?
Se está yendo la voz, no lo escuché muy bien.
Si crees que estas medicinas nos pueden ayudar en esa misión, en ese papel de encontrar esa unidad, esa complementariedad, traer esa conciencia del cuidado de la diferencia. ¿Crees que esas medicinas a niveles individuales nos pueden ayudar en eso como Dipa Masa?
Siento que creo que hay esperanza. Si estamos sentados aquí haciendo esta conversación, este compartir, siento que ya estamos dando ese inicio de encontrarnos desde la diferencia, comprender que la medicina, por más medicina que sea, si abusamos, si llevamos a otro extremo, estoy hablando de los negocios, ¿no? Del dinero. Si vamos desde ese pensamiento, no vamos a lograr nada. Pero si caminamos como la medicina, con esa responsabilidad, con ese cuidado y con ese respeto, sí lograremos, porque la medicina también nos enferma también, si abusamos y no lo utilizamos adecuadamente. Y menos cuando pretendemos, ya creemos que ya lo sabemos, porque ya hemos tomado una vez el yagé, una vez el yémoro, y andamos así suelto, prostituyendo la misma medicina. Si accionamos de esa manera, no vamos a lograr nada. Pero si vamos y nos acompañamos uno al otro desde el conocimiento y valoramos ese acompañar del otro, si vamos a crear de alguna manera la conciencia que tanto hemos anhelado y vamos a lograr ese cambio y esa unidad que tanto hemos anhelado como una sociedad nostálgica que es la nuestra, ¿no?
Yeah. Mika says that he feels that there's hope, and you know, just the fact that we are here talking demonstrate that we are open also to share and to to connect and to meet the other in a respectful and constructive way. And the medicines are doing a lot of that if we do it properly, honoring them. But if we start uh, doing more of the same with the medicine, instead prostituting uh, the medicines, like bringing these ideas and values of our own messed up um, confusion of our civilization, like bringing profits in and started abusing these medicines, then we're not gonna make it. We're not going anywhere because the medicines also, even if they are medicines and they can bring a lot of consciousness and stuff, they also can make you sick and they also can make things worse. But if we are humble enough and respectful enough and bring the right care and honor to each medicines and to the knowledge of these peoples that are the guardians of these medicines, and we start reaching out and truly connecting and in a respectful and honorful way, then there's hope. Then we can do something, and it's also already happening. You know, we're already doing it.
Mm-hmm. Imika, when you were describing the origin of the Tubú, you were saying these people, this energy came from Sirius, and when they first arrived, they saw the madness of the earth. They saw the great theater of life. And also you described in your role, part of your role is working with the mind of humans and understanding the water of life, these medicines. Where do you think this madness, the theater, the madness that we've created in our minds, where is this coming from, and how do you see the solution, the way out of this?
Dice que la historia que contaste al principio de Tubú, ¿no? Que viene de estos seres que vienen de los sirios. Bueno, y Tubú cuando llega aquí, pues se encuentra que aquí es una gran locura, un gran teatro de la vida, ¿no? y al mismo tiempo, pues en tu propio rol como Imika, que haces el estudio de la mente bajo los efectos del agua que tiene su propia vida. ¿Cómo entiendes esta idea del mareo, de esta gran locura? ¿De dónde viene? ¿Por qué es así? ¿Y cómo hacer para hacer eso, ¿no? Poder navegar en eso? ¿Hay manera?
Bueno, los viejos plantean que por eso es importante el papel que cumple las medicinas, ¿no? Porque con los cinco sentidos nosotros no alcanzamos a comprender de esa locura que estamos hablando. Cuando hablamos de locura, no estamos hablando del concepto que encierra la palabra, como locura. Cuando intentamos decir locura, nos referimos al mismo ritmo de la vida, a la misma esencia de la vida. Es caminar en esta trocha que es nuestra propio caminar dentro de esta dimensión conocida como la vida. Entonces, no es la locura en sí, sino es comprender y procurar caminar acompañado de la medicina, procurar vivir la vida de la mejor manera, humana, consciente, para no caer en en esa enfermedad, en ese problema, en ese caos. A eso nos referimos realmente. Y venidos de otras dimensiones, precisamente esa fue la misión que nos pusieron. Venimos a responderle a otro anhelo posible, a otra comprensión posible. Y por lo tanto, es nuestra tarea como nación Tubú procurar caminar de la mejor manera, de lo más coherente posible, de lo que hablamos, de lo que decimos. También el hacer complementa el decir y el hablar.
Yeah. So when they say when they talk about this madness, is not that much of this concept of madness, craziness, mental disease, but more of the challenges and the risks of life itself here in this planet, the difficulties. Um, so it is, as as a nation coming from their origin with this mission of answering to this desire of another possibility of walking this life. um, they try to to follow this instructions, these ways in a more coherent way, um, and understanding that this is a message and possibility and alternative is more than ever needed, in our times. It's like, even if the story of origin says that he heard this calling, this desire of these nations that were living here because they were in a very difficult situation, just like we're living now, and that's why also they are appearing now, with this message, because that's their mission. So this idea of the madness is is the qualities and confusion that brings life itself here in this material world. So the medicines, they play a very important role, because if we just try to live our life with these five senses, it's definitely not enough. We get trapped in this world of illusions, of the very, very limited perception of reality. So since they help to enhance and to open up to understanding more and more the reality, and also not only the medicines, but also the knowledge, the stories, and the guidance of this accumulated experience, right?
Yeah, beautiful. Imika, is there anything else you would like to share? Any topics you would like to address?
¿Te gustaría, Imika, hablar de alguna cosa, algo que te gustaría a ti decir, algún tema que te gustaría tocar personalmente?
Bueno, me gustaría tocar mucho, complementar más bien, complementar sobre el uso que se está dando a la medicina en este tiempo, ¿no? Y en este contexto. Por lo tanto, pues complementar y decir que la medicina es medicina, pero también nos llevas a otro extremo, ¿no? Queriendo de pronto sanar nuestra sociedad. Si no lo hacemos con esa responsabilidad, con ese cuidado, podemos estar enfermando a nuestra propia comunidad, queriendo sanar. En ese sentido, sería muy bueno retornar un poco y acompañarnos de la mejor manera a aquellos que realmente caminaron y que ya tienen esa experiencia y esa información para poder complementar y aprender de la mejor manera, con ese cuidado y con ese respeto hacia el otro, ¿no? Y hacia la medicina. Lo otro sería hablar de, ya no más, ya no hay tiempo de ver al otro con ese con ese desprecio, ¿no? Todos, hoy en día todos lo necesitamos para poder reconstruir esta sociedad que es la nuestra. Y nosotros somos los responsables de haberlo vuelto así como está. Y es nuestra responsabilidad juntos volver a reconstruir nuestra casa, nuestro óvulo, nuestra gran malota, que es la misma vida con que caminamos con esta sociedad que hemos creado.
Yeah, we would like to talk about a bit of the use of the medicine today. Um, as everybody knows here, that the medicines are expanding and being used in many different ways around the world. And he says that it's very important that we respect these medicines, and that we um, really seek the support, the company, the partnership with those who have walked with these medicines and with this knowledge, and that have the experience of generations and generations of use of these medicines. Because what we're seeing today is that even with the best intentions, people are bringing the medicines to their own communities, their own society, and when it's not used properly, even if your intention is to bring consciousness and health, then it's also bringing you to the other extreme, and then bringing more harm and confusion to our communities. So it's important that we get together, that we start reaching out to the other, to these peoples, and also drop these patterns of 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 our societies of arrogance that created this chaos in our humanity. Um, we need to understand that we are responsible for that. We are responsible also for the mess that we have created, and also we are responsible for the future, and that this is time for the action that comes from actually really getting together, reaching out to the other, so that together we find the ways that we can rebuild our home, that we're tearing down, that we have been destroying for so long. This is the time that we truly need to get together from our differences, and in a complementary way, find find the possibilities of rebuilding our home. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Claudio, is there anything you want to ask or speak about?
I think that's beautiful. I mean, we've touched the main messages that I was expecting that we would talk about. Of course, there's so many things to share. I've been listening to these stories once and again and again and again, and every time I listen to the story and many more stories, because the knowledge of Imika is so deep, so wide, and that of course in one session it's impossible to go around everything, but I would like to say that Imika has a very beautiful project that is the House of the Dawn. We are supporting him in a very complimentary way. He's supporting us a lot with his teachings and his medicine, but we're supporting him in this beautiful project of acquiring a territory, a proper territory for the few Tubú families that are still out there, and that we have many families living in the slums of Bogota in very very sad conditions. We have elders that are like jewels, really like holding knowledge that is precious, and they're living in very very humble and difficult conditions. And so because they lost their territory, actually they were kicked out of the territories because of mining corporations and guerrillas and governments and missionaries and all this thing that is happening all around the world. So it's important that they get a piece of land so that they can not only live with dignity, which is already important in itself, but it's something for them. But the beautiful thing of this project is that the purpose, that the main intention is they can be able to share this knowledge to us, so that people from all around the world who are interested in knowing about more about the medicines and the ways of indigenous people can have a place where they can come and have access to this information and this knowledge, and to learn and to live with them and to share and to also teach, and they're always saying that they not only want to teach but they want to learn, so it's always in a very complementary way. So the project of the House of the Dawn is about uh, having this, buying this piece of land, and also building a maloca, a house for us, right? It's not only for them, but it's for us to go there and to learn and to receive these instructions. So for people who are hearing, this is a beautiful project and a beautiful thing that you can support. Um, I can find a link to crowdfunding, but if you want to contact me, and to talk more about this. I think this is very, very important. And if you want to miss the opportunity to talk about this amazing project, we not only deserve to live in dignity, but we also need desperately this beautiful information that is very relevant and very is totally useful and it's practical knowledge that we can apply daily in our life in order to make our common dream true, which is bringing new possibility for 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 this world, you know, bringing the change we need. So the Tubú hold these very important keys of knowledge and information that we desperately need. So if you want to support, please contact me. Um, Also, when this situation of pandemics and you know, quarantines, lockdowns and stuff um, are over, you're more than welcome to come to visit Imika, also to organize some tours with Imika to your places, to your communities, um, wherever you are. Imika is really happy to go and help support community processes. It's in a very beautiful way, very useful way. We're seeing many communities that are starting to thrive and go beyond regular problems and conflicts and difficulties thanks to this knowledge and the use of these medicines properly. So please support us in this project. It's really beautiful, and it's going to be very useful for all of us.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and Imika, if anyone wants to learn more about you or to work with you, is the best way through House of the Dawn and through Claudio, or do you have any other projects going on? If people listen to you and they want to learn more from you.
Entonces, Imika, les estaba contando un poco del proyecto de la Casa del Amanecer. ¿Estás ahí?
Sí, señor.
Sí, entonces, haciendo el llamado también para nuestros amigos que nos están escuchando para apoyar este hermoso proyecto. Ahorita les voy a buscar el link para el crowdfunding y eso, para ver si nos quieren colaborar, si tienen algunas formas, ideas de cómo colaborar. Y Jason estaba preguntando también si las personas quieren aprender más, contactarse, aprender más sobre ti, sobre la propuesta Tubú, si pueden, o sea, cuáles son las mejores maneras contigo, si se pueden contactar a través de mí, eso. Ya les
Bueno,
expliqué un poquito.
sí, muchas gracias. Sí, sería bueno a través de ustedes para no perder ese respeto también del acompañar, ¿no? De hacer gente puente, entonces a través de ustedes sería de la mejor manera.
Yeah, he says that the best way to respect our work also as bridges. That people can contact us, Jason or me, to go to us to contact Imika, to have a more deep experience of this knowledge.
Yeah.
Sí. Para todos aquellos que quieran aprender, pues estamos dispuestos a compartir esta información. Creo que es el momento y es el tiempo preciso para compartir, porque es dejar este legado que se cuidó durante tanto tiempo y se necesita esta información en este preciso momento. Creo que aquí estamos y estaremos siempre dispuestos a compartir esta información para todos aquellos que quieran comprender más de la propuesta de la Nación Tubú.
Yeah. And yeah, so for all of those who want to learn more, yeah, to learn from Imika, they are always open for sharing. I'm gonna put here in the chat the website in English. So I'm gonna give it to you also through WhatsApp, Jason, so you can put it in in your communications with this podcast. In that website, you have information about the association that we created with people in Cali, Colombia. Also, there's a link for crowdfunding and more information about the project of the House of the Dawn. And it's very important also to say, you know, what Imika is saying, that very open to share the information. I haven't met other indigenous wisdom keepers that are as open as Imika into sharing all the information. It's really incredible and it's beautiful. So yeah, you're most welcome, and we're waiting for you.
Yeah. Well, Imika, thank you so much. I consider really probably everyone in my life a teacher to some degree, but certainly some are more profound than others, and I consider you a very dear teacher of mine. You've taught me a lot through your stories, through your words, through your actions, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming on.
Y dice que pues él ha tenido muchos maestros y casi la mayoría de gente que es de su camino de una u otra manera son maestros para él, pero que lo que tú le has aportado a través de tus historias y tus acciones también es muy profundo, y que te considera pues como un maestro muy querido, y es un placer.
Muy bien, entonces no me queda también agradecerle a Jackson, a Claudio, muchísimas gracias por la invitación, por este compartir. Siempre estaremos atentos para poder avanzar en acción. Muchísimas gracias y un gran abrazo.
Yeah. So also, like, thank you very much for this opportunity, he says, and thank you, Jason, for having us. And he says he's attentive and he's waiting for you to continue with this walk for the action, ready for the action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Claude, thank you very much too. It's impossible without you, and you do an amazing job translating not only the words but the energy and the spirit. So thank you so much as well.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure as always.
Gracias.
Gracias. Chao.
Gracias. Chao. Que estén bien.
Vamos.
All right, everybody, that is it for this week's episode. A big thanks to Imika for coming on. Big thanks for Claude for translating. It may seem like an easy thing to do, but it's actually quite a particular art form, and he does an amazing job. So thank you to both of those friends of mine for doing that, for sharing their knowledge, their time, and their wisdom. And I think that's it. My next guest, I believe, is going to be, I think that's episode 31. So the next episode will hopefully be with Dennis McKenna. And then the episode after that, I believe, will be with Matthew, who's the founder of the Temple of Way of Light. And after that, I'm still undecided. I'm not sure exactly the order, but as always, there should be some good guests coming on. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. As always, if you're able to support this show, Patreon is a really beautiful option. There's a link in the show notes, and by donating, you get something back, which is a really nice philosophy. Getting things like early access to episodes, Q&As, bonus material, extended footage, things like that. So to all the people who have supported through Patreon, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And if you're able to do that, thank you. There's also the option of donating directly through PayPal, so there's also a link there. And again, if you're not able to do that, if you're able to go on the YouTube Universe Within podcast homepage, subscribe to the show, and turn on the notification bells, like the videos. That's a really big help. And then with the audio version going on Apple Podcasts, subscribing and leaving a starred rating and a review. So that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode.